no problem landing that thing.
I'm here with the members of the Vulcan to the Sky. I said that correctly, didn't I? Vulcan to the Sky team, with Toni Hunter and Michael Trotter, associated with keeping this incredible airframe aloft. Please introduce yourselves, Toni.
Okay, I'm Toni Hunter. I'm the Access and Liaison Manager for the Vulcan, so I look after access basically to the aircraft and looking after things on the ground, especially at the shows. And my colleague Michael.
Yeah, Michael Trotter, Business Development Director. I run the commercial side of the trust, raising the funds to keep the aircraft flying.
Okay, so how has it been? I mean, there are some challenges as such to try and keep this aircraft in the air. Is it monetary terms, obviously, or is that the main sort of thing, or also is it down to the technical aspects which probably offer you further challenges?
No, the technical aspects of the aircraft, which is in pretty good shape at the moment. We've just done the winter service through last winter and modified the airframe, so we've got plenty of fatigue life left now. The constant challenge is cash. It costs £2.2 million a year to own, operate and maintain this aircraft, and that's largely from public support, public donations and corporate sponsorship. It's a very difficult economic environment that we're in, and we have to work very hard every single month to raise the money.
Okay, and has the response been very positive so far as such?
Yeah, the response so far. Appeal last winter was to raise £800,000 to do the winter service, do the modification, and also to keep the overheads paid. And that appeal was successful. We raised slightly more actually than we asked for. That gets us into the airshow season, which is when, of course, the aircraft is on the circuit. Lots of people come to see it, and we have the Vulcan Village at the major air shows where we sell merchandise, underwing tours. So yeah, we fight on. We also raise our profile with social media. We have over 95,000 likes on Facebook now. We email 50,000 people twice a week with news about the aircraft. And our Twitter feed, when we're flying, runs to 40,000 listeners. So, you know, we spread the word. We're active all the time.
Well, you can count me as one of your followers because I do follow you. I've done my bit because I was telling Toni just a day ago, I bought the Airfix Vulcan 172 kit, so, you know, I've taken enough pictures and I've got enough sort of detail to, I think, do it justice.
Good.
So, Toni, what's your love for this aircraft?
I think that it's the technology behind it. I mean, the Vulcan represents engineering excellence at its best. It's a thoroughbred. It's 100% British, and whether you're looking at the inception of the aircraft right at the beginning in 1947, the original design. And of course the first flight into here at Farnborough in 52, through to our restoration project, which has been recognised as one of the most complex aviation restoration projects in the world. And of course now with just a very small engineering team, only 7 engineers, who maintain this aircraft to the highest specification.
So, I suppose, I mean, it's all on a volunteer basis, isn't it? I mean, they want to keep a bit of British history alive. I mean, part of the V-bomber fleet, I mean, there was the Valiant, the Victor, and the Vulcan. But I think the Vulcan had a lot more, shall we say, press headlines as such, and it had a lot more of appeal because it's quite a pretty airframe.
Indeed. Yeah, we are blessed with having a team of volunteers at Hinckley who come to the air shows. But we have a core staff of 13, 14 people who are salaried. This is a one-aircraft airline that flies under the legal CAA permit rules. So this is a business. It's a £2 million business, even though we're a registered charity.
Yeah, I was going to say you are a registered charity.
We are indeed, yeah.
And does that help in insurance, having a slightly lesser?
No. We still have to pay our insurance. The insurance is £164,000 a year.
Okay, because it's not classed as an airliner as such.
No, it's not, and we can't carry passengers either.
Okay, yeah, no, fair enough.
But we still have all the legal constraints on flying an aircraft safely, which we stick to. So it is as I say, it's a one-aircraft airline in many ways.
And of course, with the complexity that you've got of this aircraft, you've got to rely on the fact that the, for example, the engineering team are highly qualified. They are very specific on this aircraft, and it is a full-time job to maintain. As you can imagine, this is a large aircraft as well. Keeping this maintained, you would struggle to do that with a volunteer force, even if you were allowed to do so. And of course then the rest of the team, the back office as you might call it, have an awful lot of work to do maintaining the side of it, for example.
Now, if that was a Vulcan taking off, we wouldn't be able to hear it.
Exactly. So as I say, at the back, behind the scenes, people don't realise just how much work is going on consistently trying to keep the aircraft as a viable flying example of the Vulcan.
No, I mean I can well imagine that the back office part of it is very essential to keep this aircraft aloft. And so, do you have maintenance cycles? Is it a regular thing, or is it just ad hoc as it goes along, or is it just treating the aircraft with kid gloves as such?
We have a regular maintenance cycle. Each winter we do the winter service. Sometimes it's a major service, sometimes it's a minor service. Depends on which parts need overhaul. And of course, because she's 54 years old, we constantly check all the components, and we do running repairs when we need to. So there's a continual maintenance input to the aircraft to keep her airworthy. Yeah.
And what about parts? I mean, do you have an inventory of parts that you keep, or how does that work?
Yeah, when the aircraft was sold back in the early 90s, the family that bought her bought 600 tons of spares, which we've got.
Okay.
So we have an inventory of spares that we can pull on. But if we have to manufacture new parts, we have to go to the original equipment manufacturers where we can. We have to go through the design authority of Marshall Aerospace to sign off any modifications that we do. And again, we're all strictly governed into what we can do. We can't just go and find a bit and put it on without permission.
Okay. I know, because everything needs to have the
certification.
Yeah, the type certification on the part itself.
Yeah.
So Marshalls actually assist you, do they?
They do on the design side. Yeah.
Okay,
they used to be the engineering authority on the aircraft, but now our team have developed it to such an extent that they can do it themselves.
And are they very essential to the upkeep of the aircraft?
Marshalls have been very supportive over the years. Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, they've got some real engineering sort of expertise.
Yeah, indeed.
Okay.
Of course, this is why they were chosen initially for the restoration. It was essential to have a company which was recognised as an aircraft engineering company. But it's actually very important that we've managed to prove to the CAA that the engineering that we have in place ourselves is sufficient to be able to look after this aircraft on its own. I'm rather proud of that.
Oh, fantastic. I was going to say one thing else out of my head. Yeah. What's your association with Airbus on
Airbus,
the Vulcan?
Have got a very active heritage division based in Germany, and we've been talking to them ever since the first Farnborough we came 8 years ago. And gradually they've seen what we're doing in terms of keeping a heritage aircraft alive. They've seen what we're doing in terms of educating the next generation. And they decided to sponsor us about 4 years ago. So they give us a sponsorship budget. And also having their name on the aircraft gives us enormous credibility, particularly at an airshow like this. So it's a good relationship. We work together. At an airshow like this, they send VIPs down to see the aircraft. It's a good relationship, absolutely.
In regards to being here at Farnborough, is it been very beneficial? Obviously, you're going to be swamped on the weekend by eager people trying to take every manner of picture and just trying to see the aircraft. And also, is it going to fly on the weekend, or are you just going to remain static?
No, we're flying Friday, Saturday and Sunday. Okay. And it is the trade part of the week is beneficial because people come down from the pavilions and have a look at the aircraft. They've heard a lot about it. They get a little guided tour and ask the questions. And it's vital to the project that people who work in the aerospace industry find out that we're still flying, find out a bit about the heritage of the aircraft, and then go and spread the word. Spreading the word in the industry, to me, is just as important as putting £10 in the bucket.
Sure.
It's getting that message out there that there's something important going on here.
We want to let these companies know that there is going to be an opportunity that the next chapter of the story of Vulcan will be this education project that we're looking at, with the Vulcan being the centrepiece of that environment for education, excellence in engineering and in the STEM subjects. But we of course need the support of a lot of these aerospace companies to want this to happen. And so yes, it's a lovely opportunity for them to come down during the week, a lot quieter. We've even actually had an impromptu meeting under the Vulcan from one of the companies that decided to come down. Beautiful area to watch the display from.
Fantastic.
So, yeah, lovely. It's been great.
Tony, you actually mentioned that kids are really astounded when they hear about the history about the Vulcan, and can you share that with me again? As such, the surprise that they exhibit that this thing carried such a potent, arsenal of weapons.
Young people don't realise the potential of what could have happened during the Cold War, and therefore the necessity for the UK to have a deterrent. And I think the Vulcan, a lot of people do say how they wax lyrical, it looks elegant, it's beautiful, but actually it's quite intimidating. And if you start to talk to young people about the fact that we had to recognise the need to have a force that was equal to, if not greater than that of our enemies, in order to try to maintain peace. And that was the whole concept. There was never an intent that we would use this first. It was purely to try to prevent anything from happening. But we have the very young children as well, who will walk through the door into our hangar, and we have an active access scheme at the hangar, and they will stand there in awe, and we do mean the jaw-dropping type of awe. Well, they look at this aircraft and have the opportunity to stand underneath. In fact, we have a local school who feel so passionately about the Vulcan that they requested to change the school logo to the Vulcan, very similar to my own. And every child in that school is so incredibly proud of the connection that they have with this aircraft.
That's fantastic to hear. Just one final thing. What's your wish list at the moment for the Vulcan? If you can summarise to say, what your ultimate desire is for the Vulcan. Obviously, is to keep it flying. And to me, from what I'm hearing, I think you're taking the best steps possible to, against quite challenging and harsh sort of, economic times. Even though they say that recovery is happening, but still, and you are being recognised by a major airframe manufacturer, and you're being supported by a good engineering firm. But what's your sort of wish list at the end of the day for?
The wish list is to fly the aircraft for the public who support her for as long as it's safe to do so. We know we're under the constraints of what the airframe and the engines will give us. So to raise the money to fly for as long as possible safely, and also to deliver a proper legacy project, so that when we finish flying, we'll have spent almost £24 million on this aircraft since restoration, including the restoration. And we want to leave a project that inspires youngsters to become engineers and to believe in the proper heritage of this country's engineering as well. So that's the thing that drives us on, and you'll see at the weekend if you're here that youngsters who are the PlayStation generation, when this aircraft takes off, are completely in awe of the aircraft. It's different from all the other fast whiz-bang airplanes, and very impressive. So fly as long as we can, raise the money and leave a legacy.
I think it would be incredibly disappointing. I think that's an understatement. But I would hate to see this project stop through lack of money, as opposed to us being able to fly this to the maximum of the technical ability. And the money that has been spent on this, I see that as an investment. It's an investment in the future of our new engineers. And we've got to start investing in that. And so everything that so far we've put into the Vulcan, so far all of those thousands of people that do put a pound in the pot, the £10 in a pot, every penny of that has been essential and continues to be so.
This has been a fantastic interview, and I really appreciate your time. I know you're very busy in trying to in establishing this aircraft here at the show. and I wish you all the best. And you heard it, folks, from Michael and Toni. Please come down here and show your support by visiting the Vulcan and talking to these fantastic individuals. And better still, please donate as much as you can, because it's worth it for the sake of the legacy of Britain and for the future generations. Thank you very much, guys. Thank you very much.
Thank you.